Hello, everyone. Welcome to Come Sit and Chat with Dr. Clay. My apologies for my couple of minutes of starting a little tardy. It seems as though Facebook Live had this new program going on, and they had a new version of this. And that version I tried the last time we were on Tuesday, but I didn't feel like it was coming through very well, so I decided to go back to the old version. Hopefully that would be much better. Good. Everybody's saying that's pretty good. So I think I like this version much better, and I will make sure I give Facebook my feedback concerning it so that we don't have to have any issues in the future. Well, as you guys well know, that today is going to be focused on Activities 101. Hi, Sherry Ann, how are you? For many of us parents who may not have any experience with being educators, I thought that I would give some activities, ideas. And it's only going to be about maybe 2 or 3 of them, considering we have such a short time that we're working on, for our 30 minutes today. So I apologize that I won't give a whole bunch, but I will put on Facebook my Kareen Clay, PhD, as well as, hi Kathleen, Higher Potential for Learning. And I see that we have some educators that are actually already on, Kathleen. And I hope you guys would share with us some ideas that you already know. Hi, Sherry Ann, that we can give to parents as well, because they really do need them. Okay. Now, I know many of you want to tucker out your little babies during the day. So, academics doesn't only have to be paper and pencil. It shouldn't be. It isn't in school for teachers who are effective teachers. Academics is not just paper and pencil. Kids are like all gung-ho, and they actually move in class, and there's such a thing as differentiated instruction. So those are different things. Hi Beverly, how are you? Oh my God, blast from the past. Hi Beverly. So I want to share a few of those things with you. One of my favorites happens to be tic-tac-toe. Now, how many of you love tic-tac-toe? Come on. Let me see how many of you love tic-tac-toe. Well, nobody wants to tell me that they love tic-tac-toe. Well, kids love tic-tac-toe. Any kind of game that they feel that they're doing that doesn't make them feel as though they're doing schoolwork. So, I came up with some different tic-tac-toe ideas that we would be able to use. So I'm going to show you guys several of them. And I want you to know that you can use this format for math, for science, for reading. Hi, Kimmy. You're able to use it for sight words, for math facts, all of those things. And it's real simple. You're able to just need a pen, paper. You can use a ruler if you know you're anal about making sure all your lines are nice and straight. You don't worry. I'll be sharing all of these things. Actually, I already shared the links for some of these. Hi, Kathleen. I know. Thank you for loving tic-tac-toe. I shared the links for this, like I said, on Higher Potential for Learning LLC Facebook page, as well as Kareen Clay, PhD Facebook page. So you're able to look on there as well. So don't worry if you're not able to get all of it right now. This one is an actual math tic-tac-toe that I utilize. And so on here for like some of our higher kids, especially in Trinidad, like right now, we have SCA, which is the standardized test. In America, every single state has their standardized test. In Nevada, the test is called SBAC. And it has been canceled. I don't think that's the case in Trinidad. I think in Trinidad, the standardized test has been postponed, but it has not been, hi Carlin, but it has not been canceled as of yet. Fingers crossed. We'll see. So this one has on here like define a fraction, decimal, and percent. Draw a picture to illustrate each word. That's just one box. The whole point to the tic-tac-toe is it focuses on a specific unit or specific concepts. Okay? So in each box, there is going to be a different problem or something that the child is going to have to do, per se. So In this, it specifically shows you, and there's three, and we know tic-tac-toe is usually 3 across, 3 down, 3 up, all the different things, all the different lines that you can make. So the child has to complete 3 activities, minimum 3 activities the child has to complete if you do this type of tic-tac-toe board. And as I said, I did it with math. And some of the examples are really cool, and you can make sure that they are age appropriate as well as level appropriate. Okay, so just because a kid is in standard 4 or grade 3. Oh, let's see. We have a question. Yes, you are correct. Postponed. Okay, wish they would do that. I know. Edwards, I wish they would cancel it as well, because I really don't believe that the kids are going to be prepared for that test just having it postponed. But I do believe most of the states have canceled it. I cannot speak for all of the states in the United States or other parts of the world if they've all canceled all of their standardized tests. But I would hope many of them, strongly, are encouraged to do so. I really do. So like I said, moving on, we make sure that it is standard or grade appropriate as well as level appropriate. Like I said, a kid could be in 4th grade or 3rd grade, or 4th standard or 3rd grade, which is the equivalence. And if that child is performing at a, say, 1st grade level, then you're not going to give them only work that is way above their head. We want children to be successful, and we want them to celebrate success. We know we have to lift the bar. We know we need to raise the standard, but you don't have to do that every single time, because kids are going to need assistance, and they're going to need scaffolding, which is that extra support. And you could make those different accommodations as you see fit. Now, I know parents, we want our children to just be successful all the way around, and they will be, but at their own pace. I know many of you don't want to hear that, but you need to educate children at the pace that they're at. Some kids go like this with math and science, but when it may come to reading and understanding, how do I find key details, and how do I, basically figure out all of the characteristics of a specific character, they kind of get lost. So these game activities can help with that, and you'll be able to figure out, where is my child? How do I have to bring it up to challenge them a little bit more, or do I have to bring it down a couple of levels to help my child close that gap? And this is one fun way to do so. So that's with math, right? And so if you're doing it with math, I want to show you pictures as well. You're also able to do the tic-tac-toe with reading as well. Like I said, I've shared all these sites with you, so don't worry. And you can message me. Some parents are not realistic. You're absolutely correct, CT Cover. Many parents are not realistic about where their children are and what they can do. And sometimes there are so many issues and so many variables and factors that impact a person's learning. So even if you think back when you were going to school, and that was not that many years ago, if you think back about that, you'll be like, oh my God, oh, they prefer to put on a show for society. Exactly. Are we speaking of parents, or are we speaking of the ministry? You need to clarify that for me, CT Covers, so that I can respond appropriately. Here we have a reading tic-tac-toe, and one of the things are 3 times each. Read the story to 3 different people. Now that's always my thing. I always say to individuals, tell your kids to read something more than once. My magic number is 3. So if they're reading it to 3 different individuals, it's going to help them if they miss some words reading it to the first person. Maybe by the time they read it the second time, they may read it with a little bit more expression. Yes, the parents, you're absolutely correct. We are all guilty of that. Excuse me. Now, I just want you guys to be clear that each one of these boxes is a different activity. Don't cram all of them into one box, okay? I know our overachieving parents that think, my kid can do it, so push them, push them, push them. This is supposed to be fun learning. They're learning, but it's fun. And it's something that they can do with you. Okay, remember there has to be rewards in there too. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Another one was hunt through your book for words that fit your spelling pattern of the week. So here you have an activity that has the child looking through, like kind of skimming, because most kids don't know how to do that. Teach them how to skim. They're looking to identify some of these new words that is actually now linked and aligned to a specific vocabulary or spelling activity that you're already teaching. Okay, I think it works both ways, as each try not to disappoint the other. Exactly. But we, as adults, Edwards, need to recognize that right now, kids just want to feel as though there's some things that they still have control over. And this could be something that you can help them to see, that having fun with learning is something that they can have control over. They know that they don't know everything, and they're frustrated about that. And sometimes they're nervous and scared that parents don't understand that they didn't learn that, and that sometimes their brains are wired differently, and maybe they're having trouble learning that. Many parents need to come to a realization that their kids don't learn like they do. Okay, so I know that might be a rude awakening for some people. It doesn't mean that your child is broken. It doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. It just means that your child learns differently. All of them do, no matter how smart or gate, or what's some of the words that people call gifted. In Trinidad, it's gifted. In America, it's gate as well as gifted. They don't want to be honest with themselves that even though my child has a high level of learning with certain disciplines, there are other things that they don't do very well. If you look in the mirror, you'll recognize that you also have some of those strengths and some weaknesses. Same thing with your children, okay? It doesn't mean that they're broken. So, here for our artistic lovely ladies and gentlemen, draw a picture of your favorite part of the story. When you are doing a lesson, like I said, it doesn't have to only be words and words and words. You could bring in other disciplines. Children can use art. They can use radio announcements that they can record their voice telling you about a specific story. All of this can be incorporated in the tic-tac-toe board, and it gives a child choice. Oh my goodness. Go figure. Children deserve choice? Yes, children deserve choice. Because as adults, I know for sure when I walk into a store, I wouldn't want to see all the dresses looking the same, all the pants looking the same. I don't want to see everybody looking like me walking down the street. I like a choice. So when I walk in, I want to know, what am I going to do today? I'm going to learn, I know that. Academics is going to happen, I know that. But how am I going to learn today? I have a choice. And you can give them a choice with a choice board. And it could be specific with a menu. Like I said, for math and for reading, those are two that I gave you. Here's another one that I love. Oh, science. I love science. I did one for science. Draw meiosis and mitosis. Again, they're using art. Show a model of the DNA strand with a key. So here, again, you can model how to actually create a model with your child so that they understand. Drama show, the part you like or didn't like, and how can I do it differently? Hello, how can the ending be different? There you go, Edwards. How could you do it differently? Meaning, we've both read the book, and it's always nice if the parents read the book as well as the kids. You can do it together, or you could do it separately, but if you're reading it, then you know, did you really read this book, Johnny? Because I don't remember that part. Can you show me that part, maybe I missed it, and this way, again, kids will be kids. They're going to try to get away with not doing something sometimes. And so if they do, you're able to check them on that. And you don't have to check them on that by being mean. You don't have to check them on that by shaming them or putting them down. Like I said, you could just say, I think I missed that part of the story. Would you mind, Johnny, showing me where that is? Because, I might have fallen asleep or I might have been reading too fast, because these are things that children do. So if you show them that you as an adult, you as mommy and daddy actually makes those mistakes sometimes, then they're going to be like, well, then it's okay if I make it sometimes. I can learn how to not do that. Go back, check for understanding, reread, all of those different things. Okay, so yes. So also things like you want them to learn how to classify, how to summarize, how to interview, survey, predict, and judge. These are key skills that you want children to have so you can create questions and activities that go with those skills. Okay? So that just gives me with reading, science. What's another one that I had that I loved? Ooh, can you design and draw a building using only squares? What about using only triangles, circles? Try it. Isn't that a lovely way for your children to learn their shapes? And for the kids who are a little bit higher up, you could throw in lines, angles, appendixes and appendices, and what else is in there? Axes, and you can throw in different types of triangles. You can utilize graphic organizers like a Venn diagram to compare and contrast. Use a Venn diagram to compare and contrast two monuments of your choice. Doesn't matter what country you're in or what city you're in. Most of them, if not all of them, have monuments or specific landmarks that you want kids to know and understand. So here we've thrown in geography. Here we could throw in history. So not just only math and learning geometry. We can also learn geography as well. But we can cross disciplines and align them at the same time. This one goes along with what I said, with what you said, Edwards. Perform a 30-second radio advertisement to encourage people to use oxymorons when they talk. Oh my goodness. So, this stuff is fun. I know. You guys are like, okay, Karine. No, now you know my first name, right? What's wrong with you? Why do we have to be all this dramatic? Because it's a way to engage your children. It's a way to get them excited about learning. And it's a way to motivate and get you excited about teaching them. Because many of you I know are not educators as far as your profession is concerned. Many of you are not. And you want to help your kids. You need to help your kids. These are your kids. And I know right now you're like, hi, Sham Sham. I know right now you're like, oh my God, I can't wait for school to open. Or I hope many of you have a newfound respect for your children's teachers. So you see exactly how much work goes into doing this job every single day. Like I said, the majority of us, if we are not able to be with our kids during the day homeschooling, I wish I had that privilege. I wish I had that continence, but I do not. I am not a homeschooling person. But I do have the patience to be with my child after school, but 8 hours a day, I don't think I could do that personally for my own child every single day. And some of you are like, oh my God, but I have to do it now. We all do. So yes, even though my daughter is 15 years old and may not need me as much as she did when she was 5 or 6, she still does. I still need to check in and make sure, is there any part of the chemistry or biology or whatever subject she's struggling with that she does not know? So I still need to be a support. And many of you may be similar to myself, may have, a child who's independent, but you may have other children who are not. You can't just send the independent child to take care of them. This is your job. You have to take care of your own kids. And so you need to learn these skills. And the resources are there for you. And so I'm trying to help you find out about some of these resources. So I don't know if you guys could see on this one, I have shapes as well on here. So for this one, I have the kid. It's a figurative language one that is filled with chores. They have to connect the shapes, not just only doing, you might say to them, can you please do all the triangles for today? And this could go on for more than one day. Do the squares on Monday. On Wednesday, you can do the circles and so on and so forth. So that they have a choice of which shapes. There is 4 circles, so they could pick 3 of the 4 circles. You could make a decision how you want the directions to go. And so it would flow that way. This is another one that I love very, very much. I love hopscotch. And in Trinidad, I used to play that a great deal. I know I talk a lot about Trinidad, but that's where the majority of my childhood was. I love music, and I had some creative jingles, or even poems on the topic. Okay, that's pretty good. So did you have your child create those, or did you create it and you have your child memorize it? Can you clarify that for us, Edwards? But going on with my hopscotch. Look at this. For our little babies, because not everybody has a teenager, and for the ones that you have just starting. So we used to put these numbers, and every hop they had to say the number, okay? Or we used to use a ball, tennis ball, and at every one of the squares, we would bounce the ball that many times. The wonderful thing is you can create whatever you want. You can put inside of those squares. So as the child improves, you could put skip counting. So you could put 10, 20, 30, 40, or 5, 10, 15, 20. Things like that you can put in there in the hopscotch. So this is a fabulous idea, and it's fun, and it'll tire them out because they can do it for hours. But you just change the content of the squares. Here's another one for our kids as they get a little bigger, or even the young ones. You could put words in there as they jump. Now, this is wonderful because I love to use this because these are motivational words. Hello, Principal Scott. These are motivational words that they're able to use. So this is a great activity that you're able to do with the kids as well. New sight words or difficult words that they have pronouncing. So as they jump in each box, or then when they throw, be it the bean bag or whatever tossing instrument you're going to use, then they have to say that word. They have to pronounce it. They may even have to practice closing their eyes and spelling it, or telling us how many syllables are in it, clapping this powerful, things like that. So we could put sight words in there for our younger kids as well. Edward, you said we discussed the topic and she would take out her information from the lesson and put music to it. Very good. That worked really well for any of the kids that I had to work with that had ADHD. That was a great strategy to utilize with them because many of them, they like to move, right? And that was a big thing for them, was that movement. And so when they had the beat and they could move, it helped them to stay more focused on the information and retain it better, so it wasn't just reading it. It was singing it, making a rap to it, music to it, and a beat to it. So that's really a great idea, Edwards, that your child is able to put together, and also helps her to summarize the information. So in the lyrics, it's the key details that she is highlighting. Okay, so this is one that I told you I love using as well. Here's another one for our little babies. It is it's hopscotch, but it's different. So the child actually hops to each square and they have to say the letter. So this is great for our kids who struggle with letter identification. And with also you can flip this around by having them do the sounds as well. And this works really well for our kids who, have trouble memorizing their alphabet or have trouble recognizing what each letter is. You could do this with capital letters as well as lowercase because they need to be able to tell the difference. And when you do activities like this, if your child is struggling with something, and you notice that, wow, with reading or with math, I'm seeing some flags that they may be having some difficulty, then I would definitely say to you that you should ask some questions. You could send me a messenger and actually say, Dr. Clay, I'm seeing some of these things popping up and it's giving me some concerns. Should I be concerned about it? And maybe we could talk about doing a pre-screen to see if your child has any areas of weakness that we can scaffold and support. Okay? It doesn't mean that your child is broken. Doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. Just means that your kid learns differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I need to stress that. Yes. So here's another one. We can do it with shapes, identifying the different shapes. So isn't that awesome? And you can ask questions like, how many sides does this shape have? How many corners? How many points? How many angles? All those different things. So these are lovely ways, especially for our young kindergartners, first graders, to identify shapes and colors. We could change the colors in there as well. These are things that you're able to create and draw, be it in the house, in the backyard, in your driveway. If you have the street chalk is what I call it. You can create those things. You can take these square paper just like this, and you can laminate it if you're able to. If you're not, you can just use the simple paper and lay it out. You can get cardboard. The cardboard squares from old shoe boxes. These are different things you're able to recycle and utilize as well. So, it's just not stuck with just doing, one thing. You're able to utilize it with more than one thing. All right. You can do sight words tic-tac-toe, where you would have the specific word that the child is learning for that day, and you can have them writing those words in instead of doing X's and circles. So they're literally writing the words. Wow, we can be practicing our writing. We can be practicing how to write the letters properly. This is another way that you're able to see and identify, is your child having trouble with holding the pencil or the pen? Is there a weak grip? You can be able to see, does my child actually write the letters correctly? In England, or in the English language, there is a stroke order, but we really don't teach kids by the stroke order, where many other countries, especially the Asian countries, there's a stroke order to the characters. Hello, Joy. And so you're able to teach them the order that they actually write the characters. We don't do that with our kids, even though there is a stroke order to help them to learn how to write their letters correctly. But it takes practice for them to do so as well. The final strategy that I'm going to use, because we are coming close to our close, let me make sure I check on the time. Oh, it is time to go. So I'm sad to say it's always time to go, but I'm going to share this last one with you. You can make crosswords. You don't have to only make it with words. You can make a multiplication crossword. Also, you can find them already pre-done on Pinterest. Hello, Miss Jones. You can find some of these already done on Pinterest, Teacher Pay Teacher, but I know many of us may not have access to printers. If you don't, you can create them. You're on your own. Look at them on your phone or your computer and create these. It is fun. As you can see, numbers are there, equal sign, and the kid has to put the answer, and then it connects to another problem. Okay, so if you have questions about these, I have shared the site. Here is one that is actually just connecting the problem, the equation, with the answer, and they're just drawing lines to connect. These pre-made worksheets are already done, but if you find that some of them are not at the level of your child or isn't at the level that's challenging your child, I would say to you that you create these on your own. If you have any questions about different activities to learn to do with your child that is going to help your child who has multiple a different way of learning, like using the multiple intelligences. So either your child is a linguistic learner, verbal, or your child is logical, which is the mathematical, visual, which is the spatial, interpersonal, body kinesthetic, musical, a naturalist, or intrapersonal, you can definitely send those. Final, let's see, you can do the crossword puzzles with addition and subtraction as well. Exactly. Thank you, Kathleen, because I know she teaches at a younger level of elementary. I think it's first grade or second grade, because I can't remember. But so thank you for sharing those, because we have lots of individuals who may not be in that grade or in that standard, but they're at that level. And they may need some extra scaffolding practice to help close the gap. And parents, we need you to understand that just because your child happens to be in a specific standard or grade does not mean that's the level that they're learning at. Please be patient with them. Please recognize that you have to teach them first grade. Thank you, Kathleen. Please recognize that they can only move at the pace that they can move at. Yelling at them isn't going to make them understand the word faster or the problem better. So if you know that you are starting to lose your patience, then it's time for a break. And there's nothing wrong with frequent breaks, both for you and for your child. So please share with me what you would like the next Come Sit and Chat with Dr. Clay to be on, and I would love to do different topics as well. So the next one will be next week, Tuesday, and I will try to consistently do it every Tuesday and Friday at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, and 3 o'clock, of course, as well for Trinidad time. So thank you guys for sharing this period of learning with me. I appreciate it. Please remember that we need to self-isolate. Please remember that we need to continue to model for our kids washing their hands, using hand sanitizer, washing, cooking with fractions. Oh, thank you, Miss Jones. That is excellent. So see, there's so many different ways that you can use academics. It doesn't always have to be paper and pencil. So if you have questions about those things, please, you're very welcome, Sherry Ann. Don't forget to share. Please be protective. Oh God, see what I just did? I just touched my face, which means I am going to go and wash my hands in the next couple of seconds that I get off. I'm going to wipe down my computer with some sanitizing wipes to ensure that nothing is going to be spread to my family. I'm sorry, CT cover people keep laughing at me because I do not like cooking, but I would. Anyway, thank you again, guys, for sharing these 30 minutes with me. I want to hope and pray that all of you are going to stay safe, self-isolate, protect your family, and protect even people outside of your family by staying at home, because that's what we need to do right now so we could end this quarantine. Thank you again, and I will talk to you guys next week. Thanks for coming to Come Sit and Chat with Dr. Clay. See you on Tuesday. Bye.